Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Andrew, and in this video I'm gonna restore one of my favorite laptops ever, the Alienware M17x R4. I bought this laptop with several problems, in a verge to bad condition, but the hardware is still functional. The first problem is coming from the charger. The power cable is damaged and the charger connector is damaged as well. This damage actually becomes when the laptop was dropped before, while it was connected to the charger. However, the connector was not damaged too much, and I was able to repair and stick the plastic. And as well, I replaced the power cable. The cable is the same as for desktop power supply, and these cables are cheap and easy to find. Now, after I got the charger working, I continue with testing the laptop. The other problem here is the keyboard and the control and media buttons. The keyboard backlight is working, but none of the keys are reacting, and the laptop keeps freezing shortly after it's turned on. But after some time of investigating the problem, I found that the problem was not coming from the keyboard. The whole problem was caused by the cable which is connecting the media control buttons. The cable is a little bit kinked or bended. So I tried the cable a little bit, and fortunately everything backs into a normal. So now I continue with other checks and testing. When I removed the bottom panel, the laptop was surprisingly clean. But here the both discs are removed previously, and as well the RAM. The other problems are: the battery is not working well, it's keeping power a minute or two, and the laptop case is in a verge to bad condition. The rubberish case is scratched and very sticky. The good side is, I got this laptop with pretty good specs. The CPU is Intel i7 3840QM. The GPU is NVIDIA GTX 680M. Also, the laptop comes with remaining 8GB of RAM, which is under the keyboard, and 60GB mSATA SSD, which is from the inside. And the last thing is the both speakers. The both speakers are damaged. The left speaker is still producing some cracking sound, but the right speaker is totally down. And this is how it sounds.
Well, now let's take a closer look. After I install the Windows, I continue with in-depth testing, and everything is working fine.
Well, now let's start and back this laptop in a normal function again. And first, I will start with a full teardown. Well, the teardown is finished. And now I will move to the cleaning process, and some guides, explanations, and repairs. And first, I will start with cleaning the motherboard. To clean the motherboard, I used two brushes. One is a soft brush, and the other is a very soft makeup brush. And I used a 96% alcohol to clean the sticky dirt and some rust around the components. After finished with cleaning the motherboard, let's move to the CPU. First, carefully I clean the pins using a very soft brush. And then I place the CPU back in the socket. I place the CPU in the socket because to avoid any damages to the pins. If you're going to clean some CPU, no matter laptop or desktop CPU, always leave the CPU in the socket. Because with this you will avoid any damages to the CPU pins or directly to the CPU, like accidental drops or anything else. Now, after I finish with the CPU, let's move to the GPU. Cleaning the GPU is different and it requires more attention. So in this case, the GPU chip is covered with a dry thermal paste, which is sticked all over the GPU chip. The GPU also has a very small components around the chip, but also these small components are covered with a thermal paste and they are hard to spot. Here the cleaning is going very slow and it needs more attention and care. If you're going to clean some laptop or desktop GPU, be very careful, because these components are easy to break and damage. And even damaging a single component will cause a total GPU failure. Also to clean the GPU, I used a plastic spudger stick, soft brush and 96% alcohol. After I finished with cleaning the GPU, I moved to cleaning the other electronics from the inside of the laptop, like the other buttons, the trackpad and the other cables and electronics. But also while cleaning, I check any single component, in case if I need to make some additional repairs. After I finished with cleaning, I found that the only damaged part are the speakers. The both speakers are pretty much damaged, especially the right speaker. However, this is possible to be repaired, and now I will show a very simple way. And to fix the speakers, I will use a silicone. And I will use a high temperature flexible silicone. The high temperature silicone is a little bit stronger. It's more shock resistant, but the flexibility is almost the same or the same. Also, you can use silicone to fix a smaller speakers only. Larger speakers can be fixed also, but if the damage is very small. Now, after I recreate the speaker's membrane, I left the both speakers for 24 hours until they get fully dry. Meanwhile, I move to cleaning the other parts and I start with the keyboard. First I start with shaking the keyboard from the desk, because to remove the dirt that is behind the keys and where I cannot reach using a brush or any other tool. After this, I move to the standard cleaning process. Using a 96% alcohol and cotton buds, I clean each key separately. And later, using a soft brush, I clean the entire keyboard again. After I finish with the keyboard, I move to cleaning the display. Here, first I start with removing the dust and dirt from the back side, and then I move to cleaning the front side. To clean the front side, I used 96% alcohol but mixed with anti-static gloss cleaner, and I used a few soft cleaning cloths. Also, I didn't remove the front glass panel, because the panel is well closed, and under the panel there's no a grain of dust. And in this case, if I remove the glass, I will just let the dust to the inside. After I clean the display, I move to cleaning the both cooling fans and the heatsink. So here, first I start with the basic cleaning of the heatsink and removing the thermal paste. And later I move to cleaning the both cooling fans. Well, the both cooling fans are clean, and with this I finish with cleaning all the electronics. Now I move to cleaning the case. I'm going to be short here because this is a little bit longer process, but this is what I've done. The case and the other parts which are without electronics, I wash it using warm water and dish soap. I have done this because this is the only way to make all these parts perfectly clean. The palm rest has some electronics and I cannot wash it. But here, first I cross over a dry cleaning process using brushes, and then I clean the case using a 96% alcohol. But something very unexpected happens later. The rubberish case becomes much more sticky than before. So to fix this, first I try to stick carbon vinyl over the case. But then all things turned to worse. It was impossible to stick the vinyl over the case without having a lot of bubbles from the under. But also, I really didn't like how the carbon vinyl is looking on this laptop. So now I cross over a pretty long process, which literally takes 3.5 days to finish. First, using a nail polish remover, I start with removing the rubber from the case. And I must say, this was a pretty long and hard process. I spent a few bottles from nail polish remover, but it's not impossible. After I remove the sticky rubber, I start with painting. And first I start with the gray spray and plastic primer. I use the gray spray as a base spray. And I used the plastic primer to make the painting more durable and scratch resistant. And over the case I paint 3 layers. But between each layer, I sand the case using 800 grit water sandpaper, and sanding the case I done it with water under a sink. So this was a very long process, because I need to paint the case, then wait for the spray to get dry. After, I had to sand the case under water, and then dry it from the water, and all of this 3 times, because I want to get a very smooth and very hard paint. And as a final paint, I used a matte deep black spray. And over the case, I create an effect, like some metal spaceship with a fusion crust all over. Also, the case always looks different, under a different light and different angles. Now I got everything ready, and now let's move to the assembling process and making some upgrades. Well, let's slow down, and now I will make the first upgrade. The first upgrade is going to be the mSATA SSD. Instead of 16GB as before, I will go with 480GB Kingston mSATA SSD. Personally for me, 480GB is enough for Windows and some basic softwares and applications. Well, let's slow down at the GPU and the CPU. And probably you'll ask why I didn't upgrade these parts. And here is an explanation. The CPU is i7-3840QM, which is already a high-end CPU. And if you check the benchmark tests, this old i7 CPU it's like 8th generation Intel i7-8550U. Also, the only better CPU that I can choose is i7-3940XM, which is about a 5% better than the i7-3840QM. But the i7-3940 it's pretty expensive. It costs between 130 to 150 euros, plus shipping and the other stuff. And it really does not worth spending such a lot of money for such a small difference. And about the GPU, this is GTX 680M with 2GB of GDDR5 memory. And this is already a high-end GPU with a 256-bit interface, and the memory bandwidth is over 115 gigabits per second. This is an older but very serious GPU, and later I will make some gaming tests that may surprise you. Also, the only upgrade that will make some difference is upgrading to 8GB GTX 980M. But these GPUs are still expensive, and any good 980M cost about 250 euros, plus shipping and other stuff. But for now, I'm gonna be good with the current specs and upgrades. Well, let's slow down and make the next upgrade. And the next upgrade is the RAM. And the RAM will be a 32 GB in total. Also, 32 GB is the maximum what this model supports. And the final upgrade is 960 GB Kingston SSD. So this SSD will be for data and games. And one more thing. For now, I will place the old battery until the new one arrives. Also, I paint the battery just to experiment. But definitely, I will paint the new battery after it arrives, because to fit in the rest of the case. Now, after assembling the laptop, I continue with installing the Windows. And as Windows, I used Windows 10 Home. I go with the Home version because this laptop has already connected a Windows 7 Home Premium license, and this license can be still used to activate the Windows 10 Home Edition. But in some cases, the Windows won't recognize the license, and probably some message will appear, like "No product key was found on your device." But nothing to worry about this. The license is not lost. And if this happens, you need to enter the license key manually. So I took a photo from the license number, and then I cross over a manual activation process, which takes a few minutes only. And finally, I got everything working, and this is the final result. Well, now let's take a closer look. The laptop performance are incredibly good, and this laptop is great for all daily basic tasks, and even more, like playing games. The design is thick and pretty heavy, but still beautiful and modern with RGB lights. After I clean the laptop, the temperatures are very normal. With normal usage, the temperatures are between 40 and 50 Celsius. And while gaming, the temperatures are between 60 and 70 Celsius, which is pretty fine and cool. The speakers that I repaired are working pretty well, and the silicone has done a great job. The audio is incomparable from before. The bass in the audio is about 30% lower, but the audio is totally clean, and this is how it sounds now. Also, to make this laptop ready for games, I bought an Alienware mouse. The box was yellowish and dirty, and probably this mouse was on shelves for pretty long. But whatever, I got this mouse for a very cheap on a Black Friday sale. Now I pull some games from my games collection and I start with installing. And the first game on the list is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. In The Witcher 3 I used a full display resolution and I used a few medium, mostly high and a few ultra settings. And this game is running with about a 35 FPS, but very often goes over 40. The second game on the list is Assassin's Creed Unity. In this game, also I used a full display resolution and the graphics were set to medium and mostly high settings. And in this game, I got about a 35 FPS on average, but most of the frame rate is about a 32, 31 or 30, but sometimes even go over a 40 or 45. Well, the next game on the list is GTA 5. In the GTA 5 I used a full display resolution and the graphics settings are some to normal but mostly high to very high settings. And in the GTA 5 the frame rate is about and above 100 and the maximum what I got is above 130. The next game on the list is Hitman Absolution. This is a little bit older game, but it's one of my favorite games. In Hitman Absolution, I set all to the maximum. And in this game, I got over 150 frames. But very often, the frame rate is going over 200. And the last thing, can it run Crysis? Definitely yes. On this laptop I play the Crysis 3 and with all high settings the frame rate is about or above 40, which is pretty great. Well, and this is all about this beautiful Alienware M17x R4. And I'm very glad because I backed this laptop in a function again. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video and I hope this video will give ideas and inspiration to back some tech in a function again. Also, if you want to support my channel and my work, you can press the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.